Good day, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of Why You Do What You Do by the Building Industry Association's Bay Area Young Professionals. I'm your host, Mark Sherlock. Today's guest is the East Bay Executive Director of Governmental Affairs for the BIA Bay Area. Please welcome Lisa Vorderbrueggen. Lisa, great to have you on the show today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. So, Lisa, I gave you a brief description of the format. We got 3 questions for you. Answer them however you like, and we'll get going. So, Lisa, how did you get to Executive Director of Governmental Affairs for the BIA Bay Area?
Well, my pathway to being Executive Director for Governmental Affairs in East Bay is a circuitous one. I was a political columnist, reporter, and journalist for the Contra Costa Times Bay Area News Group for nearly 30 years in the Bay Area before joining BIA. I had been, covering all of the issues that I look at now, land use and politics and all that good stuff for many, many years. But the newspaper industry was beginning its decline. I've been at BIA 7.5 years now, so things were really beginning to fray at the edges in the newspaper industry. And so I was feeling frustrated and not feeling as fulfilled as I had for so many years as a journalist. And a friend, I was a source many times, and called me up and said, hey, the BIA, the Bay Area, is looking for an Executive Director of Governmental Affairs. Is this something you'd be interested in? And she called me on exactly the right day because I was particularly aggravated about something. And so I said, sure, why not? So I met with then Chairman Dave Sanson and Bobby Glover, and the deal was sealed. And I don't think either of us knew what we were getting into when we did it. It was quite a switch from even though I was covering a lot of the same issues, it was a completely different approach. So it has been quite an educational process, and I've been really happy to be here.
Well, very nice. Can you give me a brief description of what you do as Executive Director of Governmental Affairs?
So what I do as Executive Director for Governmental Affairs is I serve as the liaison between the industry and local governments. Primarily my area is Alameda, Contra Costa, and Solano counties, but I also serve on some regional technical advisory committees. And I'm also responsible for doing BIA's weekly report, and I'm also kind of the in-house photographer. So it's a small staff here, so we all do. If you have a skill in any way, you get tapped. And so on any given day, I'm reviewing agendas for city councils, boards of supervisors across the Bay Area, looking for issues that matter to our members, taking calls from our members who are having particular issues. I'm also the staff liaison to our PG&E task force. And so if many of our members have ongoing issues with PG&E, so I've been working for a number of years now, establishing that task force, establishing the relationship with PG&E. So when our members have issues, we have somewhere to go and somewhere to escalate that issue. So my days are varied and it's very interesting. You never know when a particular fee is going to show up on an agenda, or you're going to have an all-electric mandate come up, or you're going to have any number of the issues and fee-related matters that our builders care about.
Very nice. Yes, now as I'm on that side of the industry, I greatly appreciate reviewing those emails every single time they come out because we got to stay ahead.
Yeah, if you don't have information, it's hard to make decisions. And particularly in the building industry, as you know, getting hit with last minute changes, particularly those that come with dollars attached, is never a good thing.
Exactly.
And I don't get to write about decreased fees very often. On a rare occasion, there'll be a relaxing of regulations or relaxing of fees, but that is not commonplace, as you know. So
let's hope one day. I'm optimistic for that.
Maybe so.
All right, Lisa, second question for you. What was the most inspirational moment that has shaped your career path?
Wow, I was thinking about that question a good part of the last few days. And I think it kind of goes back to my early days when I was a young reporter in the city of Carson City, Nevada. And I was covering local, municipal matters and local issues. And it was over the New Year's holiday, and we'd had a terrible cold snap. and a group of families, about a dozen families in a substandard, apartment complex. Their pipes all froze, and sewage broke out of the pipes and went through their whole homes. It coated the floors and froze, and it was really a horrible thing. And the landlord basically was non-responsive. So I wrote what turned out to be a front page story, and it got the attention of the city and the mayor and the city council. They all took action. This landlord was held accountable. These families' homes were cleaned and it was repaired. And really, that was the first time I truly understood the power that I had as a reporter to make people's lives better. And because that was really what I got into the business for, was to help make people's lives better. And I realized through story by story, issue after issue, that I could help people, in whatever matter, the particular matter mattered. So it was very illuminating to me, and I took that very seriously from that point on, and was able to translate that into my job now, at BIA.
Well, very nice, Lisa, and I appreciate you sharing that story. So, Lisa, third and final question, the theme behind the whole show. Why do you do what you do?
Well, I think I have 14 reasons for why I do what I do. I have 14 grandchildren from the ages of 18 to 4. And, I want them all to have a place to live, and luckily, maybe close by in my older years so that I can see them. A home is the cornerstone of our American democracy. It's the place where we dream our dreams when we rest our heads, right? So I want our grandchildren to have that opportunity. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this area and probably elsewhere that have a "I've got mine" attitude. So too bad for you. And that's what I do basically every day, is help remind local officials that we need to make room for our children, for our grandchildren, and for those that come behind us. And having an exclusionary attitude and keeping people out is not the American way, and it's not good for our families and good for our communities and good for our kids and grandkids. And so that's essentially why I do what I do every day.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Lisa. And as being a part of the young professionals, that should be our directive as well. Everybody deserves a home. We need to take we need to take the steps to help keep moving this industry forward as the next generation coming up. So as one of those leaders, thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for documenting those stories for all the home builders, as well as the current and soon to be younger professionals in our industry, Lisa. So thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me to come on your program. I'm looking forward to hearing all of the others that have come forward to participate as well.
Awesome. Well, Lisa, great talking to you. Have a great rest of your day and have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
All right. Bye-bye. That concludes our 16th episode. I'm your host, Mark Sherlock, and always remember why you do what you do.